Pretend you're my husband. Amara whispered the words against a stranger's lips, then kissed him, hard, desperate. Her hands fisted in his expensive suit collar, deepening the kiss before he could react. He froze, didn't pull away, didn't push her off. From the corner of her eye, she saw them. The immigration officers who'd been chasing her, now standing frozen, staring with wide eyes. Other travellers gasped. Phones came out. Good. Let them stare. Let them see a wife greeting her husband. She was desperate, cornered, about to be deported in 2 hours. This kiss was her last chance at survival. Slowly, Amara pulled away, her lips swollen, her heart hammering so hard she thought her ribs might crack. She expected shock on the stranger's face, anger, maybe disgust. Instead, he smiled, slow, dangerous, amused. "How was your trip, wife?" the stranger said. His voice was smooth as silk and cold as winter, and Amara realized with sinking horror that she'd just kissed the wrong man. If you want to find out what happens when you kiss a complete stranger to avoid deportation, and he turns out to be Seoul's most dangerous MAFIA boss, hit that subscribe button right now and drop a comment. Would you kiss a stranger to save yourself? Now let's see how Amara's desperate gamble became the biggest mistake of her life. "Sign this." The immigration officer's voice was flat, emotionless, as he slid the deportation papers across the cold metal table. "Voluntary departure. You'll be on a flight to Lagos in 3 hours. 10-year ban from entering Korea." Amara Okonkwo stared at the document, her hands trembling so violently she had to press them against her thighs to make them stop. 3 hours. That's all the time she had left in the country she'd called home for 6 months. The country where she'd built her blog, her reputation, her entire future, all of it crumbling because of one man's betrayal. "I need more time," she whispered, her throat tight. "Please, there's been a mistake." "No mistake, Miss Okonkwo. Your visa expired 2 weeks ago. Your sponsor withdrew his support and filed a complaint. You're here illegally." The officer stood, his chair scraping against the floor like nails on a chalkboard. 1 hour to decide. Sign voluntarily, or we'll deport you by force. Either way, you're leaving Korea today. The door slammed shut. Amara was alone in the detention room at Incheon International Airport, handcuffed to a table, watching planes take off through the window. Each one felt like a countdown to the end of everything she'd worked for. Her blog, her dreams, her dignity, all destroyed by Jason Park, the man she'd trusted, the man she'd loved, the man who'd just thrown her away like garbage. But what Amara didn't know, couldn't know, was that her desperate prayer for a miracle was about to be answered by the most dangerous man in Seoul, and his help would come with a price she never saw coming. If you want to find out what happens when you beg a stranger to save you and he turns out to be a Korean MAFIA boss, hit that subscribe button right now and drop a comment telling us what you'd do if you were about to be deported. Now, let's see how Amara's nightmare began. 48 hours earlier, Amara had been happy. She'd spent the morning editing footage of Bukchon Hanok village for her travel blog, her small Seoul apartment filled with the golden light of late afternoon. Her phone buzzed, a message from Jason. "We need to talk. Meet me at Hongdae, it's important." Her heart had lifted, finally, after 6 months of dating, of him promising they had a future. Maybe he was ready to get serious. Maybe he'd help her extend her visa like he'd promised. Maybe he'd finally say he loved her. She'd worn her favourite dress, done her makeup carefully, taken the subway across Seoul with butterflies in her stomach. Jason was waiting at their usual cafe, but something was wrong. His face was cold, closed off. When she sat down, he didn't smile. "I reported you to immigration," he said, casual as if commenting on the weather. "Your visa expired 2 weeks ago. I told them you've been working illegally, using me for visa sponsorship." The words didn't make sense at first. Amara blinked, certain she'd misheard. "What? Jason? That's not... You said you'd help me. Renew it. You told me not to worry." "I changed my mind." He took a sip of his coffee, wouldn't meet her eyes. "This isn't working. You're too clingy, too demanding. I need space." "Clingy?" Her voice cracked. "I asked you to meet my family on video call once. I asked if we had a future. That's clingy. Look, it was fun while it lasted, but I'm seeing someone else now. Mi Young. She's pregnant. We're getting married next month." He finally looked at her, and there was nothing in his eyes. No regret, no guilt, nothing. "You are just a distraction." The cafe spun. Amara gripped the edge of the table, her vision tunneling. "You used me. For 6 months, you used me for my blog connections, for the free promotion I gave your friends' businesses, for... Don't be dramatic. You got to stay in Korea longer than your visa allowed. We both benefited." He stood, dropping money on the table. "Immigration will probably contact you soon. You should start packing. Oh, and don't try to contact me again. Mi Young doesn't know about you, and I'd like to keep it that way." He walked away, just like that. 6 months of her life, dismissed in 5 minutes. Amara had sat there for an hour, numb and shaking, until her phone rang. An unknown number. "Miss Okonkwo, this is the Korea Immigration Service. We need you to come to Incheon Airport immediately for questioning regarding your visa status." 24 hours later, she was in handcuffs. The immigration office had searched her apartment, confiscated her passport, interrogated her for 3 hours. Every question felt like a trap. Yes, she'd overstayed. No, she hadn't known until Jason told her. He'd been handling the paperwork. Or so she'd thought. Yes, she'd earned money from her blog, but it was small amounts, barely enough to cover food. No, she wasn't trying to scam the system. She'd just trusted the wrong person. Now, sitting in the detention room, Amara understood the truth. Jason hadn't just broken up with her. He'd systematically destroyed any chance she had of staying in Korea legally, and she couldn't even figure out why. What had she done to deserve this level of cruelty? The door opened. A Korean woman in an expensive suit entered, her expression carefully neutral. "Miss Okonkwo, my name is Attorney Han. I represent concerned parties regarding your case." Hope fled. "Did my friend Ji-woo send you? I tried to call her, but they took my phone." "No." The woman sat down, slid a business card across the table, a law firm Amara didn't recognize. "I'm here on behalf of Jason Park. He's willing to drop the complaint if you sign a non-disclosure agreement and leave Korea immediately without causing problems." The hope died. "He sent a lawyer to make sure I disappear quietly." "Mr. Park has a reputation to protect, a fiancé to consider. You understand." The woman's smile was cold. "Sign the NDA, take the voluntary deportation, and this ends cleanly. Refuse, and he'll make sure every detail of your illegal stay becomes public record. Your blog followers will know, your family will know, everyone will know you were deported as an illegal immigrant." Amara's hands clenched into fists. "Get out." "Excuse me," I said, "get out. Tell Jason I'm not signing anything." Her voice shook with rage. "He destroyed my life." I won't give him the satisfaction of silencing me too. The lawyer stood smoothly. Your choice. But you're still being deported today. Jason wins either way. She left, her heels clicking against the floor like a countdown. Amara dropped her head into her hands. The lawyer was right. She was trapped. No money for a real lawyer. No time to fight the deportation. No way out. Unless... A wild thought struck her. In Korean immigration law, marriage to a Korean citizen could pause deportation proceedings while the relationship was investigated. It was a long shot. A desperate, insane long shot. But it was the only shot she had. She just needed to find a Korean man willing to marry her in the next... She checked the clock on the wall. 53 minutes. The officer returned. Time to transfer you to the international terminal for processing. Get up. As they walked through the restricted corridors of the airport, Amara's mind raced. She'd read about fake marriages in blog forums, heard stories of people paying strangers to marry them for visas, but she had no money, no connections, no time. This was impossible. They passed through a security door into a section of the airport Amara had never seen. The VIP terminal, luxury lounges, business travellers in expensive suits. And then she saw him. A Korean man walking through the terminal with 3 other men flanking him like bodyguards. Everything about him radiated power. The perfectly tailored black suit that probably cost more than her entire year's rent. The cold, sharp features that looked carved from marble. The way every airport employee who passed him bowed, their eyes lowered in deference or fear. Their eyes met for a fraction of a second. His were dark, calculating, utterly unreadable. Something in Amara's chest tightened. This man was dangerous. Every instinct screamed at her to look away, but dangerous men had power, and power was exactly what she needed. Keep moving, the immigration officer ordered, pulling her arm. They walked past the VIP section. Amara watched the man in the black suit enter a private elevator, her one chance, disappearing behind closing doors. The officer's phone rang. He stopped. Answered it, his back to Amara. Yes, sir, I'm bringing her now. 20 minutes. 20 minutes until she was processed and loaded onto a plane. 20 minutes until everything ended. Amara made a decision that would change her life forever. The officer was distracted, arguing with whoever was on the phone. Amara took 3 steps back. Then she ran. Hey, stop! Security! But she sprinted toward the VIP terminal, her heart hammering so hard she thought it might explode. Shouts erupted behind her, heavy footsteps. But she was faster, fueled by pure desperation. She rounded a corner, nearly crashed into a coffee cart, dodged a businesswoman pulling a suitcase. Where was he? Where was the man in the black suit? There. Standing near the private elevator, talking to one of his security guards. Amara didn't think, didn't plan, just acted. She ran straight at him and dropped to her knees at his feet, her cuffed hands raised like she was praying. Please, please, I need your help. The security guards moved instantly, reaching for weapons concealed under their jackets, but the man in the black suit raised one hand. They froze. Up close, he was even more intimidating. Tall, broad-shouldered, a face that was beautiful in a cold, dangerous way, and eyes that looked at her like she was an interesting specimen under glass. Please, Amara gasped, breathless and desperate. I need a husband. Just for today. Just to tell immigration we're married. I can pay you. I swear I just need... Miss Okonkwo, step away from the passenger immediately. The immigration officer caught up, grabbing her arm hard enough to bruise. but Amara kept her eyes locked on the stranger's face. Please, I'm begging you. 5 minutes of your time. I'll do anything. The man tilted his head slightly. When he spoke, his voice was quiet, controlled, laced with something that might have been amusement. Anything? Hope exploded in Amara's chest. The immigration officer pulled harder. Sir, I sincerely apologize for this disruption. She's a deportee attempting to... My wife, the stranger interrupted, his tone leaving no room for argument, appears to be in handcuffs. Officer, why is my wife restrained? The world stopped spinning. The officer's grip loosened. His face went white as fresh snow. Your wife, sir? The stranger pulled out his phone, showed the screen to the officer. Amara couldn't see what was on it, but the officer's expression shifted from confusion to pure fear in seconds. Mr. Kang, I had no idea. Her immigration records indicate she's unmarried. There must be some kind of administrative error. Then I suggest you correct the error. The man, Mr. Kang, stepped closer to Amara, his hand settling on her shoulder. The touch was warm, possessive, absolute. Remove the handcuffs, now. The officer's hands shook as he fumbled with his keys. The metal fell away from Amara's wrists. She rubbed the red marks, her heart pounding so hard she felt dizzy. Mr. Kang leaned down, his lips close to her ear, his breath warm against her skin. Play along. And remember, you said anything. A shiver ran down Amara's spine that had nothing to do with cold. Thank you, she whispered. Thank you so much. Don't thank me yet. He straightened, addressing the officer. I assume there are procedures to follow. Yes, sir. We'll need to verify the marriage, interview you both. Standard protocol for... Then let's not waste time. Mr. Kang's hand moved from Amara's shoulder to her waist, pulling her against his side, claiming her. My wife and I have a flight to catch. 30 minutes later, Amara sat in a private immigration office, across from a stern-looking supervisor named Agent Choi Sung-min. Mr. Kang sat beside her, perfectly composed, his hand resting on the arm of her chair. Close, possessive. Agent Choi flipped through documents, his expression skeptical. Mr. Kang Min-jun, CEO of Incheon VIP Services, net worth estimated at... He paused, eyes widening slightly at whatever number he saw. And Miss Amara Okonkwo, travel blogger with 50,000 followers. He looked up. You claim you've been married for 3 months. 3 months and 2 weeks, Min-jun said without hesitation. We preferred to keep it private. My wife values her privacy. How did you meet? Min-jun's expression didn't change. She was filming content here at the airport, Terminal 2 near the international gates. I noticed her. We spoke. He paused, glancing at Amara. Captivated. Agent Choi's eyes narrowed. Miss Okonkwo, is this true? Amara's mouth was dry. She nodded, not trusting her voice. Where do you currently live? Together, Min-jun answered. My penthouse in Songdo. She moved in after the wedding. Can you provide proof of cohabitation? Min-jun pulled out his phone, swiped through images. Amara's stomach dropped. They were photos of her at the airport, at Hongdae, at her favorite coffee shop in Itaewon. Dozens of them. How did he have these? I document what matters to me, Min-jun said calmly, showing the phone to Agent Choi. The photos looked like a boyfriend's private collection. Candid, intimate, real. Agent Choi studied the images, his frown deepening. These could be from before any alleged marriage. They could be, but they're not. Min-jun's voice was ice. Agent Choi, I'm a busy man. My wife made a mistake with her visa paperwork. I take responsibility for not monitoring it more carefully, but this questioning is becoming tedious. Marriage fraud is a serious crime, Mr. Kang, as is harassment of Korean citizens and their spouses. Minjun's smile didn't reach his eyes. I'm sure your supervisor would be interested to know how much time you're spending interrogating a man of my standing. The threat was subtle but clear. Agent Choi's jaw tightened. I'll need to conduct a home visit tomorrow. If this marriage is legitimate, you should have no problem proving you live together. Of course. Minjun stood, pulling Amara up with him. We welcome the scrutiny. My address is in your files. Outside the office, Amara's legs nearly gave out. Minjun's hand on her elbow was the only thing keeping her upright. I don't understand, she managed. Those photos, have you been following me? I own this airport's security systems. I see everyone who moves through my territory. He guided her toward a private exit. You've been here 17 times in 6 months, filming your travel content. Always the same locations, same routes, same schedule. I notice patterns. Your territory. They stepped into a private garage. A black Mercedes waited, a driver standing at attention. Minjun opened the back door, gestured for her to enter. Get in. We have work to do. Work? You just claimed to be my wife of 3 months. Agent Choi will visit my home tomorrow to verify that claim, which means we have... He checked his watch. 16 hours to make your belongings appear to have been in my penthouse for 3 months. Move. Amara climbed into the car, her mind spinning. Minjun slid in beside her, the door closing with an expensive click. I don't even know your name, Amara said. Kang Minjun. He didn't look at her, his attention on his phone. And you're Amara Okonkwo, 26, Nigerian, travel blogger, currently broke and desperate. Your ex-boyfriend, Jason Park, reported you to immigration after using you for 6 months. You have no family in Korea, few real friends, and nowhere else to go. He finally looked at her. Did I miss anything? Her blood ran cold. How do you know all that? I know everything that happens in my airport, including the fact that Jason Park works for one of my subsidiary companies. His smile was sharp as a knife. Small world. The car pulled out of the garage into Seoul traffic. Amara stared at this stranger, this dangerous, powerful stranger who'd just saved her life. Why are you helping me? She whispered. Minjun was quiet for a long moment. When he finally spoke, his voice was different, colder, more honest. I need a wife. You need a visa. We both need something the other can provide. He turned to face her fully. Here's my offer. 6 months. You live with me, play the role of my wife publicly, attend events, convince immigration this marriage is real. In return, I'll pay for everything. Your visa will be legal. And when 6 months are up, you get a divorce, a generous settlement, and permanent residency if you want it. And if I say no, his expression didn't change. Then I'll call Agent Choi right now and tell him the truth. You'll be on a plane to Lagos tonight. Amara's hands trembled in her lap. This is insane. Yes, you could be anyone, a criminal, a psychopath. I don't know you. You don't, but you're out of options. He pulled a business card from his pocket, wrote an address on the back. Be at this location by 8 p.m. Bring everything you own. We have 1 night to create 3 months of fake memories. And if I run? Something dangerous flickered in his eyes. I always find what I'm looking for, Amara. Don't make me chase you. The car stopped outside her apartment building. The door opened automatically. 8 p.m., Minjun repeated. Don't be late. Amara climbed out on shaking legs. The Mercedes pulled away, leaving her standing on the sidewalk, a business card clutched in her hand, and her entire future balanced on a knife's edge. She looked at the address, Songdo, the wealthiest district in Incheon. She'd just agreed to marry a man she didn't know, a man who owned airports and had her entire life researched in his phone, a man whose employees feared him and whose name made immigration officers go pale. Amara laughed, a slightly hysterical sound. 24 hours ago, her biggest problem was Jason's betrayal. Now she was about to move in with a stranger who might be a criminal and definitely was dangerous. But she was also not being deported, not losing everything, not going home in disgrace. She had 6 months to figure out who Kang Min-jun really was. 6 months to play this game and come out ahead. Amara went inside to pack her life into suitcases. She arrived at the Songdo address at 7:55 p.m., her hands sweating on the handles of her 2 battered suitcases. The building was glass and steel, soaring into the night sky like a monument to wealth. The lobby was all marble and modern art. Security stopped her at the desk. Name and purpose. Amara Okonkwo. I'm here to see Kang Min-jun. The guard's eyebrows rose. He made a call, spoke in rapid Korean, then gestured to the private elevator. Penthouse level. You're expected. The elevator rose so smoothly, she barely felt it move. When the doors opened, she stepped directly into an apartment that took her breath away. Floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking Incheon and Seoul beyond. Minimalist furniture that screamed expensive. Original artwork on the walls. Everything cold and perfect and intimidating, like him. Minjun appeared from a hallway, now dressed in black slacks and a white dress shirt, sleeves rolled to his elbows. Even casual, he looked like he could buy and sell her entire world. You're early. Good. He gestured to a stern-looking woman in a business suit. This is Ms. Shin, my assistant. She'll help distribute your belongings throughout the apartment. It needs to look lived in. Ms. Shin took Amara's suitcases without a word. Wait, Amara started. Where will I actually sleep? Ms. Shin opened a door off the main living area. The guest room, comfortable, private. And you? Amara looked at Minjun. The master's suite. He pointed down the hall. But for tomorrow's inspection, it needs to appear we share it. Ms. Shin will arrange everything appropriately. For the next 2 hours, Amara watched as her meagre belongings were strategically placed throughout the enormous penthouse. Her clothes mixed with his in the master closet, her cheap skincare products next to his expensive cologne in the bathroom, her books on his shelves, her laptop on his desk. Ms. Shin even produced photographs, perfectly photoshopped images of Amara and Minjun together, at a restaurant, at the beach, at what looked like a courthouse wedding. When did you have time to make these? Amara asked, staring at a photo of herself smiling at Minjun like she loved him. I have resources, Ms. Shin said simply. Mr. Kang requires efficiency. When Ms. Shin finally left, Minjun poured 2 glasses of wine and handed one to Amara. Sit. We need to prepare for tomorrow. They sat across from each other at his dining table. For the next hour, he drilled her like a prosecutor. How did they meet? She was filming at Terminal 2. He approached her, complimented her work. First date. Private dinner at Incheon Grand Hotel. He'd fabricate the receipts. Why marry so quickly? She was spontaneous. He was certain. They didn't want to wait. What does she love about him? His confidence, his protection, the way he makes her feel safe. What does he love about her? Her passion, her smile, her fearlessness. Do you always smile when you lie? Minjun asked, watching her with unsettling intensity. I'm not lying. I'm acting. Then act better. Agent Choi is an expert at spotting fraud. One wrong answer destroys us both. Why would you be destroyed? You're obviously powerful. Powerful men have more to lose. He set down his wineglass. I need this marriage to look legitimate for 6 months. I have business interests that require respectability. A wife provides that. What kind of business interests? His eyes went cold, the kind you don't ask about. A chill ran down Amara's spine. She was living with a man who owned airports, had unlimited resources, and just told her not to ask about his business. He stood. Your room is ready. Get some sleep. Agent Choi arrives at 9 a.m. We need to be convincing. Amara didn't sleep. She lay in the guest room, luxurious and comfortable and completely foreign, staring at the ceiling, wondering what she'd gotten herself into. At 8 a.m., Ms. Shin arrived with a makeup artist and stylist. You need to look like a woman in love, Ms. Shin explained as they worked on Amara's hair and face, glowing, happy, comfortable in this space. By the time Agent Choi knocked on the door at 9 sharp, Amara was wearing a casual but expensive outfit she'd never seen before, her natural hair styled perfectly, her makeup subtle and pretty. She looked like she belonged here, like she was Kang Minjun's wife. Minjun opened the door, his hand immediately finding Amara's waist, pulling her close, claiming her. Agent Choi, the inspection was invasive. Agent Choi walked through every room with sharp eyes, opening closets, checking drawers, examining photographs on the walls. His female assistant took notes, photographed everything, asked questions designed to trip them up. Amara's heart hammered as they entered the master bedroom. This was the test. Could she convince them she slept here, in this massive bed, next to a man she'd met yesterday? Agent Choi opened the nightstand on the left side. Inside, a book in English, reading glasses, hand cream, all things Ms. Shin had planted, all things that could believably be Amara's. Miss Okonkwo, which side of the bed do you sleep on? The question was a trap. Amara's mind went blank. Minjun's hand tightened on her waist, a warning, a signal. She took a breath, steadied herself. The left, near the window. I like watching the sunrise. Agent Choi made a note. And what annoys you most about your husband? Another trap. Too perfect an answer would sound rehearsed. Amara looked at Minjun, then back at the agent. He works too much. I wake up alone most mornings. Sometimes I feel like I married his work, not him. The complaint felt real because it probably was real. A man like Kang Minjun didn't get this powerful by having balance in his life. Minjun's expression flickered, something almost like surprise. Agent Choi turned to him. Mr. Kang, what's your wife's favourite food? Minjun didn't hesitate. Jollof rice. She argues with my chef about the proper preparation. Says Korean rice is too sticky, the spices are wrong. She's very passionate about it. Amara's breath caught. She'd mentioned jollof rice exactly once, in a blog video from 3 months ago, a throwaway comment about missing home cooking. He'd watched her content, studied her, knew details she didn't think anyone paid attention to. Agent Choi's phone buzzed. He read the message, his expression shifting. Mr. Kang, are you aware your wife was previously in a relationship with Jason Park? The room temperature dropped 10 degrees. I'm aware she dated before our marriage. I didn't demand a detailed romantic history. Minjun's voice was controlled, but Amara felt his body tense beside her. Jason Park filed the original complaint that led to her arrest. He claims she was using him for visa sponsorship and money. Then he's a liar and a bitter ex-boyfriend. Minjun's arm around Amara's waist became protective, possessive. My wife needed nothing from him. She has me. Interesting, because Jason Park works for one of your companies, Incheon Logistics Express. He's a courier. Did you know that? The silence was deafening. Amara felt Minjun's entire body go still beside her, a predator who just scented blood. I employ over 300 people across multiple subsidiaries. I don't personally know every courier. His voice was ice. But I'll certainly remember the name now. Agent Choi closed his notebook. I'll be monitoring this. Marriage very closely, Mr. Kang. Any evidence of fraud, and you'll both face serious consequences. Deportation for her, criminal charges for you. Do you understand? Perfectly. After they left, Amara sagged against the wall, adrenaline draining from her body. That was... You did well. Minjun was already on his phone, typing rapidly. Better than I expected. You knew. You knew Jason worked for you. He looked up, his expression unreadable. I know everyone who works for me. Then why didn't you tell me? Because it wasn't relevant until now. He pocketed his phone. But it's about to become very relevant. Jason Park just made a serious mistake. What are you going to do? Minjun's smile was cold and sharp. Remind him that actions have consequences. Get dressed. Something professional. We have a meeting. 2 hours later, Amara sat in a sleek office building in downtown Seoul, her stomach twisted in knots. Minjun had brought her to what he called his corporate headquarters, though she suspected it was a front for whatever he actually did. A nervous young Korean man was escorted into the conference room by security. He froze when he saw Amara. What is she doing here? Jason's voice was high, panicked. Minjun gestured to a chair. Sit down, Mr. Park. Jason sat, his eyes darting between them. I don't understand. Let me clarify. Minjun's voice was deadly calm. This is my wife, Amara Kang. You attempted to have her deported. The colour drained from Jason's face. You also scammed her out of approximately $15,000 over 6 months. Used her blog platform to promote businesses you were taking kickbacks from. And Minjun slid a thick folder across the table. You've been skimming from my shipment deliveries. Small amounts, 2 to 3% per delivery. You thought no one would notice. Jason's hands trembled as he opened the folder. Evidence, transaction records, photographs, everything. I can explain. Don't insult my intelligence. Minjun stood, walked around the desk with predatory grace. You have 2 choices. 1, I report you to the police. You go to prison for theft. 2, you resign immediately, leave Korea within 48 hours, and never contact my wife again. Choose now. Jason looked at Amara, desperate. Amara, please. We had something. You can't just... You tried to destroy my life. Amara's voice was cold, steady. You used me, lied to me, then tried to have me deported out of spite. I never want to see you again. Wise choice. Minjun's hand settled on Amara's shoulder. If you so much as think about her, I'll know. And I won't be this generous twice. Now get out of my building. Jason ran, stumbling over his own feet in his hurry to escape. When they were alone, Amara exhaled shakily. Thank you. But you didn't have to... Yes, I did. Minjun's voice was firm. Absolute. You're my wife. No one disrespects what's mine and walks away unscathed. The possessiveness in his tone should have frightened her. Instead, for the first time in months, Amara felt safe. But the safety didn't last long. A week later, Minjun took Amara to dinner at an exclusive Korean restaurant. "My sister wants to meet you," he explained in the car, his jaw tight. "Kang Yuri, be careful what you say. She's dangerous." "Dangerous how?" "She wants control of the family business. She's been waiting for me to make a mistake she can exploit." They arrived at a private dining room where a beautiful Korean woman in a pristine white suit waited. Her smile was ice. "Oppa." She greeted Minjun, then switched to English, her eyes raking over Amara with unconcealed disdain. "And this must be the blogger. How unexpected." Amara extended her hand. "Amara, it's nice to—" Yuri ignored the hand, turning to Minjun. "A Nigerian travel blogger, so soon after Hyejin. Don't you think that's disrespectful to her memory?" The name hit like a slap. Hyejin, Minjun's dead wife, the woman Amara was apparently replacing. Minjun's voice went dangerously quiet. "My personal life is not your concern. It is when it affects our family reputation." Yuri sipped her wine delicately. "Father would have wanted you to marry someone from our world, someone who understands our business, not some desperate foreigner." "Enough. I had you investigated." Yuri pulled out a tablet, slid it across the table. "Your marriage is suspiciously convenient. Amara was about to be deported. You've never mentioned her before. Suddenly, you're married. It's fraud, Oppa. And fraud is embarrassing." Minjun stood. "We're leaving. Sit down. I'm not finished." Yuri's smile vanished, replaced by cold calculation. "The family board is concerned. Your airport contract comes up for renewal in 3 weeks. If there's even a hint of scandal, marriage fraud, for example, the government won't renew. You'll lose everything you've built." She pulled out a document, placed it in front of Amara. "Annulment agreement. Sign it. Take 500 million won and disappear. It's generous." Amara stared at the number. Nearly $500,000 US. More money than she'd ever seen. "I'm not signing." Yuri's eyes hardened. "Then I'll make sure Agent Choi digs deeper. I have friends in immigration. They'll investigate until they find proof this marriage is fake, and when they do, you'll both be prosecuted." Minjun grabbed Amara's hand, pulled her to her feet. "You'd destroy our family's reputation for this." "I'd protect our family from your weakness. You've been lost since Hyejin died. This proves it." Yuri's voice was sharp as broken glass. 1 week. Sign the annulment or I start making calls." In the car, Amara was shaking. "She's really going to expose us." "She'll try." "Minjun, you could lose everything. Maybe I should just—" "No." His hand covered hers, firm and warm. "You're not going anywhere. Yuri wants power. She's been waiting for me to slip. This isn't about you. It's about control." "Then what do we do?" His eyes were hard, determined. "We make this marriage so convincing, no one can question it. We're seen together constantly. We act like a couple in love. We give them nothing to find." Amara's heart skipped. "What does that mean?" "It means no more separate bedrooms. We share the master suite. We attend events together. We play the part perfectly." He looked at her intently. "Can you do that?" She nodded, her throat tight. "Good. Because my sister just declared war, and I always win." The next 3 weeks blurred together. Amara moved into the master bedroom, sleeping on one side of the enormous bed, while Minjun took the other. Both hyper-aware of each other in the darkness, They attended charity galas where his hand never left her waist, her back, claiming her in front of Seoul's elite. People whispered, stared, compared her to Hye-jin. But Min-jun's attention never wavered. When a drunk businessman suggested Amara married for a visa, Min-jun had him removed from the venue. When reporters asked invasive questions, he shut them down with cold precision. At home, small domestic moments accumulated. Amara cooked jollof rice, arguing with Min-jun's chef about proper technique. Min-jun tried a bite, his eyes widening slightly. "It's good." The simple compliment made her ridiculously happy. One night she woke to find his side of the bed empty. She found him on the balcony, staring at the city lights. "Can't sleep?" she asked softly. "I'm not used to sharing the bed." "Not since—" He stopped. "Your wife, Hye-jin." His whole body went rigid. "Don't. If we're going to convince people this is real, I should know about her." Long silence. Then, quietly, "She was killed 5 years ago, a car bomb, rival gang targeting me. She died because of my choices." His voice was raw. "I spent 5 years making sure everyone responsible paid for it." Amara's heart broke. "I'm sorry. Don't be. It's the life I chose." He finally looked at her. "You should go back to bed." But she stayed, standing beside him in the cold night air. After a moment, his hand found hers. They didn't speak. But something fundamental shifted between them. The weeks passed. Amara stopped noticing when Min-jun's hand touched her waist, started leaning into his warmth at events, laughed at his rare, dry humour, felt her heart skip when he looked at her a certain way. She was falling for him, her fake husband, the dangerous man who'd saved her. Then everything fell apart. If you're wondering whether Amara and Min-jun's fake marriage becomes real love, hit that like button and drop a comment telling us if you'd stay with a mafia boss or run. Now let's see how their world explodes. 3 weeks after Yuri's threat, Amara woke to Min-jun shaking her shoulder, his face grim. "We have a problem." He showed her his laptop, a news article with a headline, "Kang Min-jun's secret wife. Blogger exposes airport operations." Amara's stomach dropped. Below the headline were screenshots from her old blog posts, innocent travel content from months ago, now highlighted and twisted, observations about VIP terminals, cargo patterns, private lounges. "I wrote those before we even met. They're just travel observations. These observations just revealed operational patterns I keep private." Min-jun's voice was ice, patterns that are now public knowledge. His phone rang. Ms. Shin's voice came through the speaker. "Sir, the article was sent to every major outlet and to immigration. Agent Choi is demanding another interview." Min-jun's jaw clenched. He pulled up the article's source data. The leak came from an IP address registered to Kang Enterprises. "Yuri, your sister did this. She found your blog, weaponized it, made it look like you're investigating me." His laugh was bitter. "It's brilliant. Even if the marriage is real, now you look like a spy." "What do we do?" Min-jun made a call. "We fight back. Get dressed. We're going to the family office." An hour later, they faced Yuri across a boardroom table. She looked satisfied, confident. "Oppa, this is unfortunate. Your wife's blog has created quite a scandal." "Stop pretending." Min-jun slid a folder across the table. "I know you leaked it." Yuri didn't flinch. "Prove it." "I don't need to." He opened the folder. "The airport contract renewal is next week. If there's scandal attached to my name, the government won't renew. You know that." "Exactly. You're a liability now. No, you are. Minjun revealed documents, evidence of Yuri's embezzlement, her affair with a government prosecutor, secret meetings with rival organizations. Yuri's face went white. Here's what happens now, Minjun said coldly. You issue a public statement supporting my marriage. You tell Agent Choi it's legitimate, and you step back from operations permanently. Or what? Or I send this evidence to father's old associates. You know what they do to traitors. Yuri's hands shook with rage. You wouldn't dare! Try me! She signed the statement with trembling hands, her eyes promising future revenge. Outside, Amara was shaking. You just made an enemy of your own sister. I've had worse enemies. But his voice was tired, strained. That night, Amara found her suitcase in the bedroom. What's this? Minjun asked from the doorway. Yuri's handled. Agent Choi backed off. Jason's gone. You don't need me anymore. She couldn't meet his eyes. The 6 months aren't up, but you're safe now. I can leave. The contract? I don't care about the contract. She whirled to face him, tears streaming. Your world is too dangerous. Your sister hates me. People compare me to your dead wife. I'm just a blogger, Minjun. I don't belong in this life. You belong exactly where I say you belong. I'm not your property. No. He crossed the room in 3 strides. You're my wife. It's fake. Is it? The question was raw, vulnerable. Amara, the last 3 weeks, has any of it felt fake to you? She couldn't answer, because no, none of it had felt fake. I didn't plan this, Minjun continued, his voice breaking. I saw you in that airport, desperate and brave, and thought you'd be useful. A convenient arrangement, but somewhere between the performances and the quiet moments, I stopped pretending. Minjun. I'm falling in love with you. The confession seemed to cost him everything. That terrifies me. Everyone I love dies. My mother, Hyejin, everyone. I swore I'd never let anyone close again. Then you crashed into my life and destroyed every wall I built. Amara's tears fell harder. I can't be her, can't replace. I don't want you to replace her. His hands cupped her face, thumbs wiping her tears. Hyejin was my past. You're my present, my future, if you'll have me. What if immigration finds out the truth? What if Yuri comes back? What if... Then we fight. Together. Amara kissed him back, tears streaming down both their faces. When they finally pulled apart, foreheads touching, she whispered the words that changed everything. I'm staying. Not because of the contract, because I choose you. Minjun's arms tightened around her, then stay forever. That night, Amara unpacked her suitcase properly for the first time. Her clothes went into the master closet beside his, her skincare lined up next to his cologne, her books filled the empty shelf by his bed. No more guest room, no more pretending this was real. For 2 days, everything was perfect. They cooked together, laughed together, fell asleep tangled in each other's arms. Amara had never felt so safe in her life. On the 3rd day, she left the penthouse to film content at Myeongdong. Just a normal day, just her camera, the bustling streets, and the life she was finally building in Seoul. She never saw them coming. One moment she was filming a street food stall. The next, a black van screeched to a stop beside her. 3 men in dark suits grabbed her before she could scream. A hand clamped over her mouth, a bag over her head. Her camera shattered on the pavement. Then darkness. Across the city, Minjun sat in a boardroom meeting, reviewing quarterly reports. His phone buzzed. He ignored it. It buzzed again and again. Irritated, he pulled it out. His blood turned to ice. A photograph filled the screen. Amara. His Amara, lying on a concrete floor in what looked like an abandoned warehouse, her face bruised and swollen, her red dress torn, blood trickling from her split lip, her eyes closed. Minjun stood so abruptly his chair crashed backward. His executives stared at him in confusion, but he couldn't hear them, couldn't see anything except that photograph. His heart hammered against his ribs like it was trying to escape. His phone buzzed again. A message this time. Miss me. HJ. The room tilted. Minjun gripped the table edge to stay upright, his knuckles white. HJ, those initials. He knew those initials. Only one person had ever signed messages that way. Only one person had used that signature for years. On love notes left on his pillow, on texts sent during long meetings, on the last message she ever sent him before the car bomb took her away, his dead wife. Hyejin. But Hyejin was dead. He'd buried her. He'd mourned her for 5 years. He'd destroyed everyone responsible for her death, hadn't he? If you want to find out what happens next, hit the subscribe button right now and turn on notifications so you don't miss part 2. Drop a comment. Do you think Hyejin is really alive? Like this video if you're shook. See you in the next story.